Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank all of you for coming. Today, we are going to be looking at HTML, which is one of the languages that is used on the front end of a software development project. So we all know the divisions of software. We know the back end and the front end and the database. So we are not going to go through that today, but this is the beginning of the front end development for us, and to do front-end development, I think the place to begin from is always the HTML, because this one plays a key role on the front-end development of a software. And as we know, HTML doesn't go by itself. We have the CSS and the JavaScript that go along with it. So in this series that we are beginning today, we begin with the HTML, and then after we have a firm understanding of the HTML, we will move to the CSS and then the JavaScript. And once we cover all of this, you can be pretty confident that you can do front-end engineering to a certain extent. So these are the core languages that are used on the front end, but they also have libraries that are built to make this development of the front end easier. So we're going to study some of these libraries later on, but the most important thing is being able to understand the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript script, because these are very fundamental to any of the libraries that you're going to be using later on. So now I'm going to just bring up any web page and then give you a little bit of an introduction of the parts of the page. But once you go on a page, there are certain things that you should know, that this part of the page has this name, this part of the page has this name, and this part of the page has this name. So I guess before we do that though, I can give a little bit of an introduction to HTML, and I have it in this on this page, as you can see, and I'm going to be sharing this with you so you can read it, right? So what is important is that this language was first introduced in 1990. That's just about 32 years ago. And the person that introduced it, his name is Tim. And Tim is credited with inventing the internet, the World Wide Web. This is the internet, another name for the internet. So, the internet. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the initial version of the language, 1.0, this is a convention in software development. Anytime a tool or a language is created, the first version will come out, mostly 1.0, and then 2.0, 3.0, because they keep making it better. And so as you keep making the tool better, you release the latest versions as you keep going. So there are different versions of HTML. That is the point that we can see here. And the latest version is HTML5. HTML5. So that is what everyone is pretty much using going forward. Later on, CSS was introduced. So HTML is the first language that was created, and then CSS was introduced about 7 years later. And then we don't know when JavaScript started, but we're going to look into that later when we get to JavaScript. So that being said, we can go on a page, and I just want to show you the parts of the page so that once we start doing the HTML, things will be easier for us. Let me hide these floating points. So I don't know if this is a good example to use, but it is a page, so we can start from here. 1 second, I think somebody is trying to join. Okay. 1 second, please. Okay. Yeah, so when you go on a page, this is a web page. this is a web page. I see my screen is also slowing down a little bit. So as you can see, as I'm moving the page, I'm just scrolling up and down. Not every part of the page is scrolling. Not every part of the page is scrolling, just a part of it, not all of it. So you can, the first thing you see is that this top section over here is very, very static and nothing is happening over there. So this is what we call the header section of the page. The header section of the page. And so the rest of the page, besides the header, so the rest of the page below the header is called the body of the page. And then we have the footer. The footer, on this page, we don't have the footer section, because if you look at the bottom of the page, there should have been the foot. And so that is called a footer. Has any one of you heard about footer before? Like footer.
Yes.
Right? So, and what about the header?
Yes.
Then the body, right?
Yeah.
So you can think of it as like a human being. It's kind of comparable to a human being. You have the head, the body, and then the foot. So the page is also like that. The header, the body section, and then the footer section. So, and the fundamental thing that we have to know is that the positioning of things on the web page is controlled by HTML. That is the language that is used to divide the page into different sections and then position these elements on the page, right? So of course it doesn't do it all alone. It is, CSS is a very key player also. So we begin with HTML today, but we're gonna get to the CSS. The CSS is just adding color and design to the page. And you know, the thing about the front end, you know, the presentation of the front end, the beauty of the front end, this is very important, right? So when you talk about beauty, then you think of CSS. Because if you want to be able to add colors and so many fancy things that you can do, you need to do it using the CSS. But the first foundation is the HTML, and then the CSS will be on top of that. So that being said, let's go into the main lesson. So I have 2 PDFs opened. I'm going to be following this tutorial. So Tutorial Point is one of the powerful platforms on the internet for tech tutorials. So they just, you know, they are known for tech tutorials in different topics, different areas. So I just, you know, got this PDF from them. Like anybody who wants to learn HTML, they recommend that you just follow this tutorial and then you're going to be okay. So I'm just going to go through it page by page with you, and then we're going to practice, and then we're going to talk about what they show us, you know. And I want to do it this way because I don't want to leave anything out that is crucial to your understanding. And this is going to be hands-on. It's not talking, it's hands-on. So, I mean, if we look at the table of content, the overview section, maybe that is what I did. And you can see HTML document. If you think about Word document, HTML code, you can refer to it as a document also. So it's a document that is written in HTML language. These are just jargons. I don't know if you should worry too much about this. You just have to know how to write them, you know, and stuff like that. And so we're gonna go through some of the basic tags. So what is a tag? I believe that's the next thing that we're gonna talk about. Element, HTML element on a page. What does that mean? What is, you know, HTML attributes? What is an attribute of HTML? We're gonna look at that. So like, this is just the table of content, and then they're talking about formatting. I just formatting, and then meta tags, comments, images. The point of showing this content is that there isn't a lot to HTML. There isn't a lot of jargons that you have to keep in your head. It's just a few principles that we keep reusing over and over again. So they have tables. This is all not too complicated. A list, if you want to make a list on the page, text links and all that, it's not image links. You're gonna get this in a second. It's not something that is challenging at all. Email, frames. These are all things you can do on the front end, and they are not complicated. You're gonna see it very soon. The backgrounds of an element, colors, fonts, forms. There's something called a form, HTML forms. Forms are very important, but they are very easy to make also. Yeah, these are some of the things, but I mean, it's interesting that they have a lot of things in the content, but they are very easy things. And then now they're talking about JavaScript, layout. Here they are just listing all the tags that they have. This is a very useful information. The tags that we're gonna be going through today. I just want to get to the beginning. You see, 14 pages into the document, and it's just the table of content. They are just giving you all the various tags that you can have. So we just keep going. Yeah. So now we are done with introduction. I mean, the content, 17 pages into the document. Okay. So this is where we begin from. This is the basic format of an HTML document, the basic format. You always want to know the basic format. But once you have the basic format, things can work and you can see something happening. So all I want to do, I'll just copy this, but that is the basic format of HTML language. And it has all the paths that are useful, and the first thing I just want us to do, we just copy this code. We want to execute this code and see the way it works, right? So we created this folder yesterday. It is just a folder, right, on the computer. And we are using the Visual Studio Code IDE to open the folder. And then we just create files in here. So we're gonna create HTML file. So what should I call this? Day one, I'll call it day1.html. And if you want to create an HTML document, you have to be sure to end the name of the file with this extension. We went through some of this yesterday, but that is not to piggyback on it, but the extension of the name of the extension of the name of the file is what gives the identity of the file. This is what tells the computer that this is an HTML document. If you don't, if you put something else there, then it means something else. So all I'm doing, I'm just gonna paste the basic format of an HTML code over here. And because this is the basic format, it has everything that you need to have for the code to work. And at the end of this meeting, I don't expect anybody to kind of code along with me. I just want to show you the way things work. And then I'll give you a link to a video that will teach you how to install the Visual Studio Code IDE on your computer. And then I'll give you some exercises that you can do on your own just to practice what we are saying, right? There are so many resources on the internet. There are many places you can go to practice what we are talking about today. So once you have it, you have the code in here, you just have to save it like I did. And then if you want to see the code in the browser, you just right-click on the page and then go to view in browser. And then you just click on that. It's going to bring up the browser and execute the code. So again, this is slowing down because you know what it is, my computer is it has a lot going on. So, okay, so we just give it a minute. It's gonna come up So the solution to this is I should have shut down the computer over the night, and I didn't do it. So, it kept doing work. This is happening today. And then I can also, if I buy a better computer, a very advanced computer, then this may not be happening. So there you have it. This is the code that we just executed. That's what it's supposed to do. So let's just go through it, and I'm gonna try to put this side by side so that we can understand the output. 1 second, please. Okay, I'm gonna put it side by side like this so that we can see what is happening. So this is a heading. This is a heading. So this text over here, we can see it in here, in this section of the code. And then the document content goes here. Remember, this is something that we just put, it's right here. You can see that text over here. So, I mean, the first thing is if you change anything here and you save it, we are expecting that change to reflect on the page. Of course, it will not reflect by itself. You have to refresh the page, and then it's gonna get the latest code. So what is happening over here? Any HTML code that you write, you have to enclose it in a tag like this, a tag called HTML. So this one opens over here and it ends over here. So it kind of contains all the code, the HTML code, all of them. You have to enclose it in that tag. But what is a tag? I think that is the most important thing we need. What is a tag? So when you talk about HTML code, there are two things that you have to remember: tags and attributes. Tags and attributes. It's all about tags. So like when you get very advanced, everything on this page is in a tag of some form. Like it's all different tags. We have different tags, and the tag is what determines the behavior of the element or the data, right? So you have some information that you want to show over here, but you have to put it in a certain tag. The tag gives identity to that data. So, but as you can see here, this one is for heading. If you want to do any heading of any kind, you need to put it in a heading tag. So there are different types of tags, right? So like, as you can see, we call it a document, and a document, you can think of a title for your document. You can think of a paragraph for your document. You can think of many different parts of the document. But sometimes on your document, you're gonna have a table, right? So if you are creating a document, say a Word document, and you want to put some information into a table, it is different from if you just want to write a paragraph, right? And it is also different if you want to just have a heading. You may want to bold in a heading, you may want to underline it. So in HTML also, all of these there are different tags that you can use depending on what you are doing. If you just want to have a paragraph, you have to use a paragraph tag. If you just want to have a heading, this is a heading, you have to use the heading tags. There are many different, there are actually 6 heading tags. See, 1 to 6. These are if you want to create any type of heading, you have to think within which of these 6 can I use? So, so H1 is the biggest. If you want the heading to be a big font, you want the font to be bigger, you have to use H1. So H1 is the biggest you can get. And then H2 is the next one, H3, like that. So H6 is going to be very small. That is the smallest heading you can get out of the box. You see, so this is an HTML code as well. You can see it's very, very similar to the one that we have, the basic format, and they are using the header tag. So like for anybody who wants to have a header, which is a title for your document, then you just have to enclose whatever the title is within these tags. So like if the size that you want is like this, then you want to go by this tag over here. If you want it to be a little bigger, you can increase from 1 to 2, you know, like that. So the point I want to make is that we have many tags in HTML. And from now, we just want to go through some of the tags and see what they do. So once you have an idea of what the tags do and how to use them, then whatever you want to do, you're gonna say, oh, what type of tag do I need? And once you know that tag, you use it. And normally the way the tags work, they open and then they close. So this is the way you open them. You have this angular sign over here, whatever it is. So this is less than, greater than, right? So this is a body, the body tag. So like I said, if you go on a page, we have the header, we have the body section, and then you have the footer. So anything that you want to put in the body section of the page, you already know what the body is, right? In the middle. So you have to make sure that you have the body tag written, and then now you go in the body tag, and then you can start putting whatever you want to put in the body. So let me just, so the tags and attributes, right? We're gonna talk about attributes later on, but what is most important for us right now is just knowing that there are many different tags, and the tag is what tells you what determines what you do, right? Like I said, if you want to write a heading, then you have to use the header tag. If you want to write a paragraph, then you have to use the paragraph tag, which we're gonna see the way it looks like going forward. So now our code is here. Let me just send it down. Everything is a tag. Just think there's so many tags in HTML. It's just, you are just managing the tags to get what you want. And most of the tags, when they open, they also close. When they open, they close. And so like I showed you, this is how you open it, right? Less than, greater than. And then you say, I want HTML tag. So all that this is saying is that you want to write HTML code. You are telling the computer that anything that comes after this tag here is supposed to be interpreted as an HTML code. That's all you are saying. So once you open it, you have to close it. Otherwise, your code will not work. And how do you close it? You just use this forward slash over here. And it's very easy to type it, right? Just say less than, type HTML, and then you close. So you see the IDE is closing it for you. So that is the advantages of using an IDE. As soon as you type the first section, it will close it for you because it knows that this is what you want to do. It's saving you some work. So another tag that we're going to learn is called paragraph. So paragraph is just a P. If you want to write a paragraph on the page, it's just a P. So you just, you open it and then it will close it for you. And then if it doesn't close it for you, you have to close it yourself, right? So let me just say, I mean, you just type it, right? And all of this is on your keyboard. You just type it. So if I want to write a paragraph over here, just write it. Right now, this code is not pretty good because I have an HTML. Everything should be inside this HTML tag. So outside of this tag, I don't think if I write anything here, it's going to work. I don't think. Let's try and see if it works. This is not, doesn't make sense. This one doesn't make sense to me. Let's see if it works. So it's working. So essentially from here to here is one document, and then from here to here is another completely different document. So it's like you're having 2 pages on 1 page. That's what this one means to me. But let's remove it and do the right thing here. So, you know, you have the head section. So the head section here, so can anybody tell me where this thing went to? This document is, this is document title. Like on this page, we know we can trace everything to the page. Let me save it, this one. So again, I selected save as, that's not what I want to do. So close it. You can also hit Control S if you're using Windows, and then for Mac, you can just say Command S, and that should also save. So right now, see, my computer is a little slow for me, but there's something I should have done. It's okay. Okay, so I just want to save this. So let me see if this works. Normally, you're supposed to see save over here, which we don't see. So it's almost like I haven't made any changes. That's why. So let me try to make one change and see if that works. So now you can save it. Good. And I wanted to, that white thing that was over there, I needed it to go away. That's what tells you that you've saved it. So see, we can do one-on-one matching of this, but this we don't see. Do you guys know where this one go to? Do you see this on this page?
No.
Okay, thank you. So you can see, I see it, it's over here. You see, this is item. And any web page that you go, you always do it the same way. They don't change. Like, consider this page over here. You can also see they have something there, W3 school. So that thing they have there is hard coded in a title tag. So anything that you put in a title tag, that is where it goes. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that's a paragraph. This is a paragraph. So it's a paragraph. It could be any length. You can add anything that you want. Then this can be any title. So so this section here, this is the head section. The head section is what goes over here. You can also put some configuration information within the head section, because you can see anything that you put within this head tag doesn't show on the page itself. It doesn't show on the page itself, but it is there. It is on the page. You just don't see it. So the one that shows here, the header, so that people may confuse the head with the header, but they are different. You can have another tag called, say, header tag. Sorry. So if you make a typo, this will correct you. So that's the opening. I have to close it down here. Anytime you open a tag, you just have to close it and then you're good. And in here, you can put anything. Let me just put, say, H1 heading. So again, the header, we know once you go to any page, these ones can be caps. They can also, it is recommended to write them in small letters. In the olden days, they used to have them in caps, but now it's just recommended to have them in small letters. So because I put this element, this is called HTML element, in the header section of the page, where do you think it's gonna go? It's gonna go to the top. It's gonna come to the top there. One second. If you have any questions, ask. Okay, I'm just explaining things. We're gonna start using a lot of documents in the next few minutes. Once we start using them, we just know what they are and what they work, and then we keep moving, right? And then we're gonna put them together to do complicated stuff. Like something like this. I have this project here. Very, very simple that I created, that I'm hoping that after this meeting, we can all do something like this. Yeah, we can do something like this. So this is just a bunch of different elements that I have put together to form this beautiful document. And you can see that it's very similar to what a web page would look like. It just has no colors, that's all. There are no colors. And there are no colors because we are not using the CSS. I mean, this one is a color, but it means it's a link. If you see this blue color, it means it is a link that when you click on, it will take you to another place. But if there is no CSS, this is the way HTML code is going to look like. Without CSS, this whole site will look something like this. Very ugly looking. But you need to have this before you move to this. So they use each other. So, okay, that being said, let's go back to this document. So actually this complicated code over here, it allows you to specify the version of HTML that you're using. Like we saw at the beginning, there are different versions, older versions. So the latest version, you just have to say HTML. You don't need to put the number 5 at the end. So that is the purpose of this. It's a doc type, document type definition. And you know, the body section, the header section, and the footer. Let me add a footer too. I'll just add a footer and then we'll just move on. We're gonna look at other tags also. So footer, just type footer. Then it will finish it for me. So anything that I want to go to the bottom of the page, this is where you're gonna put it. And you know, again, I'm still gonna use H1, say H3, because it's at the bottom. Let's just save this and see. Okay, we already have the code here, so you can just refresh it. And then it should bring all the changes, right? So because I put it in the folder section, it's gonna go to the bottom. Let me move this folder to the top of the body and see if that would work. Right, I'm just moving it from the bottom here to the top of the body. So again, my computer is slow for me. I'm just gonna cut this. And I just want to move it to the top of the body. See, this is the body tag. It begins here. No, it ends here. Where does it begin? It begins right up here. So I'll just put it up the body. You can do formatting of your code so that it's easy to read. But now let me see if so the test I'm doing is hopefully this is text is still going to be at the bottom here for me, just because I put it in the folder tag. Hopefully that's going to happen. So that didn't happen. Okay, so the position of the element is important, right? See the order. I moved the footer to a section below the header. So that is exactly what happened. If you want the footer to be at the bottom, just put it at the bottom. But if we learn JavaScript, you can put the footer anywhere, but you can still use the code to force it to be at the bottom. Even CSS can do that also. Okay, so that's just a little exercise for us. Okay, so now let's go back and look at other tags also and what they do. So right now we know the header tag. It allows you to create a heading, and then the paragraph also allows you to create a paragraph on the page, right? So what other tags are there? So that was the basic one. This is a heading. The tags, I'm gonna share this page with you also. So what does this one do? Allows you to define the version of HTML. Everything that we just talked about is there. So let's just keep going. So this is a paragraph. If you want to have a paragraph, this is a paragraph. This is a paragraph. If you want to have something like this on your website, you need to enclose it in a paragraph tag. And that you are telling the computer, this is a paragraph. That's all you're doing. So again, you can see everything is within the tag, and then the header section, the head section, then the body section. Okay, so here we're gonna start looking at some of the tags. So the heading tags, heading tag. Who can tell me what this means? I'm just doing now heading tags. Who can tell me what this means? We already talked about it.
They are the heading of the document, and it has like a sizes. The biggest is 6 to, oh, sorry, the biggest is 1 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so the header is like a subject. It's like a subject. Then you can have paragraph below your header.
Below it. Beautiful. That's it. That's perfect. It's just a heading, right, on the page. If you want to create any heading of any kind, then you have to use the header tags. And he's right, 1 is the biggest and 6 is the smallest. I just copied this code. We want to execute it and see what we get. And I'm just gonna replace all of this because, it doesn't matter. This is simple. I'm erasing everything that we have before. I'm saving this code. So, within the body section, we're gonna have all of this, the same heading, but different sizes, right? So I just click view in browser. And this is the way this code is going to look. You can see, you can do the one-to-one mapping. H1 is the biggest, followed by H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, right? So you are doing that, you are right, you are the one designing the page, and you are saying that I want to have a heading, but this heading, I want the size to be bigger. Then you think of H1. If you want the size to be smaller, you think of H6. But if you want the heading to be bigger than this, then you're gonna do something more than just using the tag. You're gonna have to give it a name, then you're gonna call it by name, and then say, I want the size of this element to be, then you can specify any size that you want. That's gonna be in the CSS section when we start with the CSS. But, out of the box, this is all the headings you can have and you can work with. Most of the time, this is all you need, but sometimes you want something bigger than this, or even something smaller than this. Then you can specify the size yourself. So that is the heading. Nothing fancy here, Just have to know there is a header tag, and you can always Google it. And who is, yes, please?
Concerning the heading, right? When it says H1, how do you have to tell it one in the beginning and one at the end?
I'm so sorry, I couldn't hear you. I think your voice is very low. Okay. Can you come again?
Concerning the code, right? Why do we have to put H1 in the front and the back and the end?
And the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a tag. This is the tag, right? It's a tag. And you have to open it and then close it.
Okay.
If you open
And then,
sorry, I'm listening.
no, I'm listening.
Okay, this is the opening of the tag. If you don't close it, there is an error in the code. If you don't close it, there's an error.
Okay.
Yeah, not
and
sorry.
The end one is the one with the slash.
Yeah, to close it, you need a slash. Yes, you need a slash.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the reason for that. Yes.
Okay.
Quick question, please.
Yeah, and one minute, please. If you look at all the tags on this page, you can see all of them. They open and they close.
Okay.
See, this is the head. It opens and it closes. When it closes, you are telling me that you are done with the header. That is, you are done with everything that you're doing with that tag at that time. Then you can begin with something else, right? Yeah, if you don't close it, if you don't close this, everything here is almost like part of this, It's just gonna be messy. Yes, please.
Yes, so I noticed there's a header, there's a body, but where's the footer in case you need a footer?
Yeah, thank you. In case you need it, then you add it. You don't always need to have all the parts of the page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
then how do you close it? Do you tap to close it or you hit enter?
That's a good question. Actually, I don't do anything. I just have to type the tag, and then the IDE finishes it for me. I'm typing footer. Once I close it, I don't do anything. it will complete it for me.
Okay. Okay. And then you type whatever you want to type at the bottom.
Yeah, so now if you keep typing, it's gonna do this, but you can hit enter to go to the next line so that the code will look beautiful. You can just hit enter like this, and then now you can type here. If you just type something like this without adding any tag to it, they're gonna consider this as a paragraph.
Mm.
As a paragraph, yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we can move on to the next element if there are no further questions. The next tag on the page. So that is the header. We all know what the heading is. So now the paragraph. The paragraph is the next one. So we just copy this code and execute and see what happens. Again, I'm going to replace all this because you see, you can always copy and paste it and just see what happens. But as soon as, once you have all these conditions met, you have a body, you should be good. So now we have a paragraph tag over here. It opens and it ends. We have 3 of them. So these are all different elements. So once you have an open tag and then you close it, you have an HTML element. The whole of this is an element on the page. So let's just save it and see the way the paragraph is like. So you cannot really, the size of the paragraph is going to be fixed. It's fixed. It's always the same size. So again, the computer is a little slow, but it's coming up. I'm going to try that this doesn't happen again. You can see this is the first element, and that's over here. This is the second element. What we see is that the sizes are the same, right? But that's the paragraph. You can't really change the sizes. But you can change it if you want, but to do that, you need to give it an ID, and then you call it in the CSS code and you change it. We're going to see how that works. But for now, just know there is a paragraph, and if you want to type a paragraph, you just use that tab, right? So there is something called Lorem, is it Lorem Ipsum? Has anybody heard of this before? Lorem Ipsum.
No.
Okay, Lorem Ipsum. So it allows you to generate text, gibberish text. The text looks good. It looks like it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, right? Because like we want a paragraph right now, and we cannot just keep writing gibberish things. So you just come to Lorem Ipsum, copy anything, and use in your code. But in the future, somebody can change it to whatever they want. So I just want a paragraph. So let me just put this paragraph here. And it's long, but don't worry about it. The code can deal with it. Let me add another one. So I'll add another one. Oh, sorry. You can just copy any length. I just want data for my page. Oh my God. So I'm having difficulty with my computer being slow. Really. See, it's doing what it wants. Okay. I'll make sure this doesn't happen next time. So sorry. You can just highlight all of this, highlight it, and then paste what you just copied over there. But again, with my computer being slow, a lot of things are happening. So see, if you want it better this way, it's fine. The way you format the code is all up to you. And I can just save this, and then we see what this is going to look like. Just save this and see what this is. Just give it a few minutes and it's gonna open. Yeah, so this is our code now, right? We pasted all of this paragraph within that tag. This is another paragraph that we have. So the third one is just what it is. We didn't change it. So yeah, and if you want to add a heading, you want to add a heading over here, like you see on this page. Can just copy. See, my computer is very slow, guys, and it's too painful. So
So for every new paragraph, you need a new tag.
100%. For every new paragraph, you need a new tag. Yes. Yes.
Quick question. The way to start a new paragraph is to type the P, right? To get the new paragraph.
Yes, please. You type, you just want a tag. So I want to have a paragraph, which is something like this is a paragraph, right? So you need a paragraph tag. And the tag is this, the P. Once you open it like this, you have to close it. Otherwise, the code won't work. So, and then you put whatever it is in there, it's gonna come beautifully as a paragraph. Yes. So I just want to add a heading to this second paragraph over here. So, I need a heading. So H1, you can specify any size you want, then paste whatever heading you want to use there. See, I'm putting it up here above the second paragraph because I want the heading to be over there. So you can move this around depending on what you want, right? It's very flexible. So I just want to save this and then execute this by saying view in browser. And it's supposed to give it a heading. Yeah, you see? It has given a nice heading to the paragraph. So you see how basic it is, and yet very, very, very powerful. You can have a senior developer who has a problem with HTML. And if you have a problem with it, then you have to live with it because you always need it. You always need this knowledge in software development. And it's just very simple and straightforward, right? Yes. Now, I mean, if you have a problem with this, then you won't be doing front-end engineering. You can stick to the back only. But many companies also want you to be full stack. Full stack means you have to know the front and the back and the database as well. So yeah, I think we are comfortable with the paragraph tag right now. In case I want to add a heading to the second paragraph, who can tell me how to do it? If I want to add a heading to this, let's do it to the first one. Again, see, because this is too long, that is why you don't see the closing tag of this paragraph. So let me just format it better. Let me format it better by just, adding some spaces, just want to, you can always add enter to break the line, the next, because it's a long paragraph, right? So you can read it better, readability. So it opens here and ends here. Actually, the best way to format this is like, you have to, like, you can copy this and then hit tab and then paste it there. You don't want, this body tag opens here. You don't want anything else to begin on the same line as the body tag. Otherwise, you can't read it. So this body opens here. You just want to be able to see where it ends down here without any interruptions on your way. So you can cut this, hit one enter here and paste it. So, so mostly if it's not working, just do it one by one. Do it one by one. So, and just move this forward a little bit. And I'll mention something. This is called formatting, right? You're making the code readable. The computer has no problem. It will understand it, but you will not understand it. So now you see this opens here. Just align, make sure they line up beautifully, right? This opens and ends here. So you can put one tab at the beginning so that everything is clear to you what is happening. So this one also is beautiful. If it's short like this, you can keep it on one line. It's okay, but just organize the code in a way that you would like it and it makes sense to you. Here you can also do this if you want, though it's not recommended because it's a short line. It's a short line like this. So that this is a header H1 tag. It opens and ends here. Sorry, like this. But I'm actually, because this is one line, honestly speaking, I don't want it to be like this. It's just a short heading. So it's okay to have it on the same line like this. And in Visual Studio, you see this red line if if you hit a space and you don't write anything after that, then that red line is going to be there. But it's not an error of any kind. So you can save this. And then you view it in the browser. And it will still do the same thing. So the question I'm asking is, if I want to put, say, any heading, it could be any heading. And for the purpose of my computer being slow, let me close some of these browsers. But they make it slower. If I want to put this heading, all I'm doing is I'm just highlighting it so I can copy. So once I have it copied, I want to put that header up here, above the first paragraph. This is the first paragraph. Yes. How can I do it?
So you would use the tag H1 on line 6.
Okay, thank
And
you for
paste.
mentioning the line 6. Yeah. See, the lines allow
Paste.
that you could identify. So I'll use the H1 here.
Yeah, line 7 's fine. Yeah.
So as you said, I'll type it H1.
H1, and then you're going to paste.
Paste what I just copied.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's see if this would work. Thank you, Atanawe. I mean, you can just come and refresh the page also. And it worked. If I want this to be a smaller font than this one, what can I do here? If I want this heading to be smaller than this, if I think this is too big for me, what?
So you'll change the 1 to a 3, a 4, 5, 6, either one.
Okay,
The smallest would be a 6.
The smallest would be a 6. So let me just say 4. I can change this to a 4. And once I save it, always make sure to save it first and then just refresh. And it's smaller, lo and behold. But if this looks good to me, I'll just continue. And trust me, I'm developing a web page this way, right? So yeah, so that's all about this. We know the paragraph, we know the heading. If there are no questions, we can move on to the next. I know we are running out of time. IntelliPad people, I feel bad. We are running out of time here. So there is another tag over here that is called line break. Line break. You're going to break a line. This is the way you do it. Sometimes you have a line on the page that is too long and you want to break it, break the line. So this is how you do it. And for this, I don't want to just copy this. We can just implement it in our code. And not only that, okay, let me demonstrate this line break tag. So this one is it's a different type of tag, right? You open it and close it at the same time. It's very short. So, essentially these are the two main tags. One of them, they open like this and they close like this. And then some of them, they just open right there and close right there. So now let me demonstrate this. See, you can see this paragraph, although we just put enter over here. But if you go on the page, this line here is going to flow into the first line. And this line is going to flow into this line, as if there is no space over here, right? And I'll show you. Let's go to bring up page. So industry, the first line is supposed to end with industry because that's what we have the enter. But you can see after the industry, the lorem ipsum flowed into the first line. And if I make this bigger, you can see that the paragraphs, they all flow into each other. The lines flow into each other. Sometimes you don't want that. You just, after industry, after this full stop, I want to begin on the next line. I don't want to continue. So the way you do it, wherever you want to end it, you put the line break over there like that. So the line is going, you're like, I want to break the line over here. And then say after this here too, you may want to break the line. You can break it at any point that you want, right? Wherever you have this, the line is going to break. So let me just, let's see how this is going to look like. Again, you just have to know that in case I want to break the line and I don't want things to just keep going and going, that's all you do it. That's the way you do it. That's always the way you do it. So you just have to know that there's something like that around. And then someday you're developing software and you want to break the line. You don't want things to continue. Oh, how do I do this? If you ask Google, Google will tell you that, oh, use this. You can just copy and, use it. But if you know how to use it too, it's okay. I have to tell you that most of the time, if I have to write any HTML code, I Google it because you don't always write it. Most of the time in the industry, the code is already there. You have to be able to understand the code. That's the key thing. So if you open a software code and you see something like this, you have to know that, oh, they are creating a paragraph over here.
Now he's weighing up his options.
Right? And then when you see
That's into the box. Excellent defending to block the shot. The shot well blocked there.
somebody's watching football. Okay, we can continue. So one important point I want to make, you see this paragraph over here that we are hard coding. In a typical software, they will read this from a database and just show it over here. It will come from the database and then you show it. But I want to show this as a paragraph. So you have to create your tag and put it in there. Okay, so we can move on to other tags on the page. IntelliPad people. It's just different tags, right? And they all do different things. And the goal is to expose you to as many tags as possible. So there is another one called centering a content. If you want to center a content, you have to enclose it in this center tag. And the demo is right there. You can copy. Oh, I see my computer slowing down again. See, my computer is doing what it wants. Okay, it's just slow, that's why. So you have this paragraph. Now let me demonstrate this center tag also. You just copy the tag name. As we can see in the browser, this paragraph is not centered. What I mean by centering is you want to center it in the page, in the middle of the page, right? You want this to be in the middle. Right now, it is not in the middle. It's left aligned. This is left aligned. So the way you do it, just enclose it in the center tag. That's all. That's all you do. Just I copied it, but I'm just typing it. You can cut the bottom here and paste it. Whatever you want to have centered, just keep it in the center tag. Why is this red? Is there any error there? Maybe there's an error, that's why. But let's see. Yeah, oh, IntelliPad people. I suppose you may need to. Yeah, so it did work, right? You see, it just centered everything on the page for me. It centered the paragraph. If I move this to the bottom here, can somebody tell me what is going to happen? The center opens up here and ends here. What do you think is going to happen on this page?
Like it's going to center everything.
Everything on the page, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Right. So this is up here because it's not included in the tag.
Included, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, just a lot of common sense, right? And then you play with it and get what you want, just like that. Save it. So Simon, do you guys have a class now?
Yes, this is it. Yeah.
Okay, so friends, I think because IntelliPad team have to go, we may have to end it here. And I think that the next time when we meet on Saturday, we're gonna finish all of this. We're gonna finish all of this. all the tags, right? So if you go down this page, you know, there are different tags. We'll just go through all of them in our next meeting and finish it. Do you guys want a homework or you don't?
Yeah, we want.
Okay.
And again, excuse me, is it possible for you to send this note to us?
Yeah, the PDF, I'll put it on the team,
Okay.
in the group on WhatsApp, so that you.
And the recording, you could send it.
Absolutely, I'll make the recording available too. Okay, 1 second. I want to give you guys something you can try to do on your own. And once you have the PDF, just keep learning the tags if you have time. Next week when we meet, we're gonna go through it again. But I just want to give you guys something you can do in case you want to exercise some of what we did. 1 second, please. I'm trying to find something you can do. These ones have colors in them. Maybe this one doesn't. 1 second. I'm gonna release you guys very soon. Yeah. So you can take a picture of this and try to design it yourself if you want to have some practice. You know, you can see this is a heading. You can see this is a paragraph. This is another heading. This is another heading. So this one we haven't done it yet, but you can find out if you want to create something like this in HTML. This is a form, contact form. So you can learn ahead of us, right? So anybody who wants to do the homework, you can just take this picture on your phone and try to design it yourself using the tags, right? And I'm gonna send a video so that you can install Visual Studio Code on your computer, because you need to have it, you know, in order to do this kind of work. And if you have any problem installing, you can let me know, and maybe we can hop on Zoom.
Ivan, quick question.
Yeah.
What does the Xcode do in Visual Studio?
So the Xcode, I can tell you not to worry about it at all, because I don't even think it has anything to do with Visual Studio Code. The Xcode, normally if you want to design applications for Mac products, then you need that. Mostly no, we don't need that at all for now. But that's not what we are doing. We are trying to build web applications. So in building web applications, you would never, I don't think you're gonna have any need for Xcode at all. Is that a good answer?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Which one are you using right now? This one. This is Visual Studio.
Yeah, I'm using Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio. Visual Studio is different from Visual Studio Code.
Okay, because I have Visual Studio installed, but I don't have the
Visual Studio Code.
code.
So you need the Visual Studio Code. Yeah.
Can I download that too for free online?
Yeah, I'll send a video, and if you have a video that you can follow to download it, you can share with us also. You can share with me, and I'll go through it. If it's nice, I'll share with everyone.
Okay.
Some of these installations, you want to watch a video and do it. As you just follow the video and do it, right? But you don't want to miss any important step in the installation process.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. VS Code, this is the icon, right? This one here. And then Visual Studio is this.
Okay.
But you're gonna need Visual Studio for the C#, right? When Visual starts with you. But for now, we just need this one. Okay. So if there are no questions, can we call it a day?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna continue next week, friends. I think next week we're gonna finish HTML. Maybe I'm
So
being...
nine again next week, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mhm.
Okay.